Hey guys, I'm Kelley Norton, your AZ Realty lady, and because a lot of you are relocating to Arizona, I just want to have a wonderful home inspector here today, Jim Brown of Brown & Co. Inspections, to go over with us how homes in Arizona are constructed. So stay tuned, we'll be right back, and we are going to tell you all about how Arizona homes are built. And in the meantime, if you could, just go ahead and smash that subscribe button and click that little bell. That way you are notified when I put up new videos. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Kelley Norton, your AZ Realty lady at EXP Realty. Count on me for all things Arizona real estate. All right, so for those of you who don't know me, I am a Valley native and a real estate agent of over 22 years right here in the Phoenix area. I help people that look to relocate to or within Phoenix and the surrounding areas. So if you are looking to buy or sell, just go ahead and call me or text me. It's the best way to reach me. And you might be wondering, who is this guy? I will let you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you. So my name's Jim Brown. My company's Brown & Co. Property Inspections. We service the entire Phoenix metro area, kind of the whole state, wherever we're needed. And I've been doing home inspections since 2015 in this area.
Yep, so he's an old pro too, so you got two old pros here for you. So today we're going to talk about building a new home. A lot of my customers, as you know, love to build brand new houses. Yep. And a lot of them aren't used to how we build houses here in Arizona, so we get some common questions. So we figured we would kind of talk about the houses from the foundation up and how they're built. Sure. So I'll let you start off with, you know, when you've got your lot, you got your dirt, kind of what's that next phase? Sure,
okay, so absolutely, it starts with a dirt lot. And so that dirt is compacted. We don't have basement homes here in the Phoenix area. Everything is slab on grade. The modern method would be considered post-tension, where they have these long cables running through the home after they install the concrete. They tension the cables, like imagine locking a tensioned rubber band in place. Yep. And that as time goes by, if the concrete cracks, which concrete does, those post-tension cables hold everything together. And so far it's worked out very well.
And just so that people understand what that post-tension slab is, so that if the ground were to settle underneath, it's going to allow everything to kind of move together instead of doing one of these, right?
Yeah. Ideally, so what it's avoiding in that case is what would be called a differential settlement, where conventionally, if that happened, a corner of the home could break literally off and settle down. The post-tension system helps to hold everything together. If and as that happens.
Okay.
All right.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So then the next phase after that
is framing, wood framing. So pretty much all wood framing here. Older homes, a lot of masonry, not anymore. Wood framing is the way it's done now, and that's so exterior walls, if there's interior load-bearing walls, and then the attics or the roofs are going to be like a wood roof truss system.
Okay.
Okay. So
perfect.
You know, really nothing but wood. A lot of wood out there.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
I think for some people that's surprising, but other people are kind of used to that depending on
where I think pretty much nationwide that's how it's going. There are more modern innovations coming down the way, but we haven't really seen a lot of them yet. So we're still doing a lot of wood framing.
Yeah. I had, gosh, I can't even think of what it was called. I had a listing one time that was like a hay, some kind of a hay wall, and there's like these little windows you could look in and see all the hay stacked in.
Oh wow, that's pretty wild. I haven't seen one of them.
It was wild. Yeah, it's in the East Valley. I'll give you the address. You can actually look at the MLS listing pictures where you can look into the wall and
that's
you can
cool.
see.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
The new way of coming down is these like insulated panels, where it's basically foam insulation wedged in between structural plywood or similar.
And are you seeing that with more builder-grade homes or more custom homes right now?
More custom right now, but builders have their eye on that, certainly, because if it saves time and money, that's going to be the way to go. You know, absolutely. So I have a sense that might be on the way more often, more common.
Perfect. Yeah. All right. So after you have your slab and then you have your framing, what's the next phase after that?
So next phase after that is going to be, so during the building process, electrical, plumbing, mechanical, which is HVAC, heating, cooling, ventilation, all that kind of goes in right around the same time.
And once that's in, I actually recommend that you get a home inspection before the next part is going to happen, which you're going to talk about.
I am, the pre-drywall inspection. It's a very good idea. You know, things happen during a building process. Some, worker A moves something that worker tradesman B did, and then Tradesman A doesn't come back out to fix it because he wasn't aware that tradesman B did anything. And we see that kind of thing all the time. Things get moved out of place, things get accidentally damaged. And the field supervisors, they have a lot on their hands. You know, they might have 10, 15, 20 houses that they're stopping by every day. And that's, hundreds of thousands of materials in one house.
Yep.
So, and the city inspector will catch some of it, but they're not out there for much more than, 15 minutes, I think at the most. And I think that might be kind of long in some cases. So we go out for like 2-3 hours and we're walking through very methodically, looking everything over. And we do find things almost all the time that need to be corrected, or at least would be easier to correct before drywall goes in. So that's why we always encourage pre-drywall inspections.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So at what point is there sheathing?
Sheathing. So exterior sheathing or
Yes.
Okay, so sheathing would be based on engineer specifications. So rigid plywood boards help prevent what's called racking. So think about a home, think about a big box that can twist and things like that. Sheathing would be installed at the framing stage, right, before siding and all.
I know a lot of times my customers will get an email that says, we're doing the sheathing next week. And and I tell them I knew it has something to do with stabilizing, the frame, but I wasn't exactly sure the best way to explain that. So if they were to get an email or find out that they're at that sheathing stage, I just thought that might be helpful for them.
Yeah, so sheathing goes in, exterior walls, sometimes in garage, and then sheathing is also installed on the roof. That's essentially what the roof covering is installed on top of as well.
Right.
So, vital at that point.
Roof sheathing, very, very important. Okay, so we have now drywall put onto the house.
Right, so after all the HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and every, low voltage systems, things like that, after we're done, our inspection hopefully, then it's time for insulation, so exterior wall insulation specifically, and then around the garage. Then from there, they're going to install drywall. And then the other thing, maybe that people aren't super familiar with is stucco, exterior stucco.
Yes.
That is the siding of choice here in the Phoenix area, and not as common elsewhere.
Right.
You might have more like vinyl siding in parts of the country, hardy board, wood type products. But here it's about 95% stucco, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So then once you have the stucco on, then what is the process?
So, during what we just talked about, at some point they would have loaded the roof. What that means is they bring out the roof tile. That's probably the third, item that is maybe not super familiar with people in the, from other parts of the country.
Right.
Tile roofs here are the predominant roof of choice over things like asphalt shingle, over like a roll roofing or a foam. You'll see tile most of the time.
And when he says loading, so what they do is they'll actually stack the tiles up and let them set there. And so explain why they do that.
So the reason you want to do that is because it's immensely heavy. You want to put all that weight on the top of the house so it literally pushes down on the house before you install drywall. If you install drywall first, imagine kind of squishing down a stack of pancakes, it's all going to crack and it's not going to look very good. So you want to let that downward force happen before installing any drywall.
Perfect.
And that would be after insulation. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And then when do windows and doors and all that typically go in?
Windows do go in before insulation and before siding because the window flashing system and doors, the flashing system is very integrated with the framing. And then you build out from there. And that all the water resistive pieces, you could say, are really hidden from sight houses here. You don't see a lot of flashing, protruding from the walls here. It's all kind of tucked away. So doors and windows at give or take the framing stage before drywall, before siding, stucco.
All right, so a lot of people here wonder about termites, they wonder about flooding. So when they're building the foundation and they're doing the grading, they do build a barrier around the property for termites. Can you talk about kind of when that's done and what the rule of thumb is? I know a lot of time at our inspections, we'll see plants too close to the house. And so we're constantly trying to battle this issue with having, your things that could potentially harm your foundation or draw termites to the house. So let's just talk about that for a second.
Sure, it's a lot of good points. So and I'll kind of tackle them one by one. So first off with termites. We have subterranean termites here and drywood termites to a degree, but the subterranean termites are the ones that people see most commonly, and they live underground, hence the subterranean part, and they crawl up into a home, and as they do so, they build these little shelter tubes. And that's so they can survive, quite frankly. They can survive under the ground. It's very moist. There's not a lot of prey, no sun. So as they come up, they kind of bring the ground with them, if that makes sense. And then once they're in the home, they're kind of safe again, if that makes sense, although they still continue to build tubes as they eat wood. Now this particular species of termite doesn't eat wood very quickly. So by the time you see them, it's not like it's too late. You just call an exterminator and they'll do a full treatment, and you're usually good for a couple years at that point. They say that every house in the Phoenix area within 10 years, 50% will have termites. Within 20 years, 90%.
Yes.
Or something like that. But it's staggering how many.
Right. The old saying is that you either have had them, currently have them, or will have them.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a very, very small minority of houses will not see them. And that's the key word, is see them.
Right.
That's kind of all we can go by when we do a termite inspection, is do we see evidence or not?
Right.
There's a lot of components to a home you can't see.
Yeah, and the pre-treatment the builder does typically lasts for 5 years if you don't put or disrupt, I guess, what is it, a few feet around the edge of the house?
Yeah, so they pre-treat the soil before the home's built. So after the grade is ready, meaning it's all level and it's all compacted and it's essentially ready, technician will come out and spray all the dirt with a pre-treatment. And that chemical, as long as it's not overly watered down and as long as the application is, proper and entire, it should last, 5 years or so, but it could last much longer. It could last up to 10 years or so. It really just kind of depends. But they treat the soil first. Now, and then that kind of moves us to drainage and grading. Most houses here, conventionally speaking, built in the past 20 years, didn't have gutters installed.
Right.
You're starting to see builders put gutters in, and I have the sense that that's because of how busy the foundation repair people have been. We don't get a lot of rain here, but we do get rain, and when it comes down in buckets, and it doesn't go away very quickly. Right. So if you have rainwater coming off the roof and it's just sitting next to the house, it's going to sink down and then get under the home. And concrete's kind of like a big, hard sponge. Concrete cures initially. That's a chemical reaction. It doesn't dry. So it'll get wet and then it'll dry out. And that'll happen over and over and over again every time it rains, unless you're dealing with your rainwater. As concrete gets wet and it dries out, it can break apart, it can crack, the ground below it can sink. So we rely then, because we don't have gutters, on the ground to shed our rainwater if it's graded properly, which unfortunately a lot of the times it's not. Builders do have to pass that. They have to pass grade. And they'll have a third party come out and grade properly. And usually a new home looks really good. It's after the landscapers come in and they do their thing that the grade is jeopardized.
And they grade them, so they're grading for the water to go out away from the home and then down the side out to the front.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes. Usually towards the front. I would say, pretty much always towards the front. You'll see nice little rock beds, and the idea is to get all the water kind of channeled out to the street where there's stormwater management systems in place. So
I always tell people, first storm that's going to happen, just stay home, watch your yard, especially after your landscaping, because they try. Most landscapers will try and follow the grade, but they can actually block up those, what do you call that, where it goes through the fence? There's like a couple holes there where the water drains through.
The hole in the block wall, there's just kind of a special block. It could be part of like a French drain system maybe. Okay. It's like an intentional waterway.
Right. So you don't want to block that. I've actually seen people put things in front of it, my husband included, thinking that snakes or something is going to try and get in there. So don't block that, because we get some rain here. People don't think we get rain, but when it rains, it rains. And with all the clay and everything, like you said, that in the soil, the water doesn't really go anywhere. So you want it away from the house. So, well, thank you so much. Absolutely. We kind of gave you guys a quick version. If you have any more questions about termites, I do have a video on termites here on my YouTube channel. So feel free to watch that in depth, more than you'd ever want to know about termites. And again, thank you so much for being here, Jim.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And Jim is available to do your home inspection, whether it's new or resale. And we do have his information that will be in the description here on the page, but you can always call me or text me. And again, guys, I'm Kelley Norton, the AZ Realty Lady, here to help you with your buying or selling needs anywhere in the Phoenix or surrounding areas. And Jim, thank you.
Absolutely.
And guys, remember, subscribe to the channel and click the bell. And until next time, have a great day.